What an absolute treat we have lined up for you today. Me and the team have made our way down to Rostrevor to speak to an absolute gem of a human being. A woman who is simply gifted with her art and has been on countless articles, magazines and received numerous awards. You are watching the official Young Hunger podcast and we present to you Miss Jacqueline Rooney.
Hi everyone, my name is Jacqueline Rooney and I'm an award-winning artist based in my gallery in the beautiful picturesque village of Rostrevor here in the heart of the Mourne Mountains. I am absolutely honoured to be speaking to Michael today to share my story and hopefully inspire some of you that it is never too late to take that risk.
The first time I ever sort of came across you was like 2 weeks ago at the Think Network event.
Yes.
Shout out to Gary Dockery for
Fabulous.
setting that up. And you spoke and you were sang to the last. And I don't know what it is, and I'm not just saying that because you're here, but something about your talk inspired me. So I was like, this is a woman me and Ross need to get speaking to because we want to find out more, and I feel like a lot of people could learn from your story. So where did your story begin? Where was like the start of the journey for you with painting?
Well, obviously, it's been my childhood dream to be an artist. You know, I used to spend my summers at my granny's. I'm the eldest of 5 children, so I was shipped out every summer and up to granny's. And we had 4 channels on the TV. And I'm showing my age here. But yeah, basically, I spent my summers 2 months drawing and painting, and the morns and the view of the sea. So she lived near the Silent Valley there at the foot of the Mourne Mountains. And Granny was such a big fan of mine, and you know, she kept saying, you know, you're going to be an artist when you're older. And I said, yes, I am, Granny. But you know, school teachers and relatives and things would have said, no, you know, that's not a job. You get rid of that notion. That's a wee hobby. You know, you need a proper job. So what I ended up doing was I went forward. My levels were art, English, and music. I was a very creative all-rounder. But I knew that if I kept going with my art as far as I could, that it would hopefully lead the right direction. And then I got into do my BEd honours in art and design. I graduated in 2000, so I came out qualified to teach art up to A level. And then I was a teacher, but alongside my teaching career, I painted and sold my art because I was so determined. I had my first solo exhibition in 2002, so 2 years after I graduated. So I kind of kept giving myself a goal to work towards and keep the art going. And then also, you know, I would have sold through galleries and things like that. So I was doing it part-time all along. But whenever I was teaching my students, you know, and I kept saying to them, you know, follow your dreams and do what you really, really wish, I knew there was this niggle inside my heart that I wasn't doing that. And so I just thought, I'm nearly a fraud standing here telling them to do that, you know. And so it was always my lifelong ambition was to do this full time. And then we had a very life-changing period in our lives. My husband and I, we lost both of his parents to cancer within 8 months of each other, and we had our 2 sons in that same, it was in a 1.5-year period. And we both sat down, my husband and I, one night, and we just thought, you know what are we doing? What is life all about? We're not happy where we are. We've a burning ambition to do something else and something more. So we both handed in our notices as teachers, him as a primary school teacher and I as an art teacher. And I have to say it was the best decision we ever made, and absolutely no regrets, you know.
What sort of made you take that jump? Like, I think I remember you saying you were teaching and someone said to you, you were saying follow your dreams, and someone said to you, are you doing your dream? And then you're like, no, or something.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, as I say, that was a big thing for me, is to, you know, you want to inspire your students to really be their best and be happy and do what they love and do what they're brilliant at. And I remember even my students, one of them saying, Miss, did you always want to be an art teacher? And I just stopped and thought, no, I didn't. I wanted to be an artist, and I'm standing here and I'm pushing you towards that, and I really want that for you. But whenever I was at school, it just wasn't on the career pathway, you know, and whenever I told people, they were horrified. So I just, you know, I think back then, whenever I was in school, it wasn't the norm. It wasn't the 9 to 5. It didn't tick the box. So you were kind of nudged into a certain career path, you know. But I think the beauty of today is the opportunities are there, and you can absolutely go for whatever you want to do.
And did you ever have that fear of like, what if?
Always.
Yeah.
So that was with me throughout my teaching career, and as I say, it was constantly burning behind me that I was not doing what I really, really wanted to do. And I think it took me to my late 30s to actually have the courage to just say, do you know what, life is too short, you know. And as I say, my husband and I had gone through a real roller coaster of emotions, and we literally just stopped and reevaluated everything.
Yeah.
And it was you know, if something really you know, dark at that point in our lives, we just saw a light at the end of the tunnel, and that was just, let's just do it.
Yeah, and that's amazing to hear, because is it J Blades? Yeah, like your art is global nearly now because of that. How did that come? How did he? For those who don't know, he's on the
Repair Shop.
Repair Shop, yeah.
He's
on TV.
Absolute gentleman. So basically, over lockdown, obviously my husband and I took a wee panic attack. So we thought, oh my goodness, we're really going to have to push our businesses. And I knew that social media was an area I felt confident in. So I was constantly on social media. And actually, the beauty of that was that when people were spending a lot more time in their homes over the pandemic, they were doing up their homes. People were having Zoom meetings and they wanted some lovely art behind them. So suddenly all of these new eyes found my art through Instagram, LinkedIn and all of that. But one of the most special phone calls I ever received was from J Blades, as we mentioned, the Repair Shop and designer. He basically saw me on Instagram, sent me a DM or a voice note, and said that he found my art and it made the hairs stand up in the back of his neck. And he said, we need to speak, we need to talk. So he rang me that day and we shared our passions for colour and interiors and vibrant colours, and he said, right, we're going to do something together, something very special. So he commissioned me to create a painting. First and foremost, he wanted a painting, and he chose one, and I called it Courage. And it's one of the very, very popular best-selling prints now in the gallery because it resonates with so many. And for me, courage at that point was the courage to follow your dreams, the courage to take that risk, and the courage to just go for it. For other people, it resonates for other reasons. So he has courage, he owns that now, and then after that he put it behind his designs on Instagram, and he had like 100,000 followers or whatever, and suddenly all these orders came flooding in from the UK that you know, people that didn't know who I was, but my colourful art behind his beautiful designs, it just was like a marriage made in heaven, you know. So it was fantastic. And then following the success of that, he commissioned me to create a bespoke piece, and he wanted hope and light in this piece, so I called it Into the Light. And that piece he then transferred onto luxury velvet and onto furniture and onto cushions, and they sold out straight away. So then he said, right, Jackie, I have started this now. I'm going to pass you the gauntlet and you run with it. So
you run UTV with him, isn't that right?
Yes.
Because I remember seeing was it over lockdown. He was singing your praises.
Yes.
And I remember seeing that, and then I was having my tea one night and he was on TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Exactly. No, he an absolute gentleman. We did an interview then on UTV Live. It was very exciting, and you know, it was amazing then after that interview what happened. So basically following the interview, there was a lovely man watching it in his front room, like you say, you saw it on the TV, and he came to our house and gave me the proposal of opening this beautiful period property in the heart of Rostrevor where I live, and he owns the building, and he said, look, would you be interested in taking it on? And I grabbed the keys off him and said yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe whenever, like, you even just talking to you, I can feel like the sort of the energy and the positivity. Was there ever a time you said maybe like, maybe this isn't for me, or anything like that?
No.
It was always...
Never. I never doubted myself once. My husband now, he's been more of a realist. I say, he calls me, he said sometimes my head's in the clouds and I'm always thinking positive, but that comes from my dad and my gran, you know, very much, you know,
resilience,
just do it. Yeah, absolutely. Just go for it, you know, sure, why not? Why would you not do it? And, you know, he'd be more of thinking of paying the mortgage and the bills and all those things. But, no, there was no hesitation. I just felt like once I had made that leap from my permanent job into what I've always wanted to do, the doors and the opportunities started to come in. You know, the doors started opening, the opportunities started flooding in, and it was nearly like there was all these signs coming at me, Michael.
Yeah. And how do you sort of, where is your gallery for those who maybe don't know?
So the gallery is a beautiful restored period property here in the heart of Rostrevor in the Mournes. Rostrevor is a coastal village about 15 minutes outside of Newry and not too far, about 50 minutes from Belfast and about an hour from Dublin. So we're right sort of smack bang in the middle, and we're right at the coast with the mountains of Mourne just sweeping down to the sea beside us nearly, you know, so it's a very picturesque, beautiful village.
And today's such a wonder day because the sun's shining and we're never down this part of the world. And
well, do you know, we get a lot of visitors coming to the area who really appreciate the Mourne Mountains and climbing the Mournes or swimming open waters, and then that lends itself really, really well to what inspires my art. So when they come into the gallery, it's nearly like a memory of where, you know, they've just spent their time. So it's really in keeping with the area.
But you weren't always here. Did you go to Australia?
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
So one of the massive turning points in my life was in 2006. I decided I had my long relationship, my job, my car, my house, all
Everything.
of that. Had it all, you know, and like I say, the dream really, and ticking all the boxes. But I just wasn't happy, and I knew I wasn't doing what I really wanted to do. And I remember always saying I'd love to have gone, you know, to Australia and travel. A friend of mine immigrated at age 8, and I always used to think I'll watch Neighbours and see her on the TV someday, you know. So I had this thing where I'd love to go to Australia, but nobody would go with me at the time, and the thought was nuts. So I remember a friend of mine had breast cancer at the time, and she said to me, right, I am sick listening to you talking about it, just go and book your ticket. So I went that day, and I came home to my boyfriend that night and I said, I've booked my ticket for Australia, I'm going on the 1st of September. And he says, no, you're not. And then I showed him the ticket and he said, right, okay. And he still said until the day he left me at the airport, he didn't think I was going to go. But I went to Australia and I had £250 in my back pocket. Talk about resilience. I thought mum and dad might give me a few pounds, but they gave me a few pounds for the airport and says, you know, get yourself a wee coffee. And I thought, right.
What did you do when you got over there?
Well, what I did when I got over there was I come from a very musical family as well. It's in the blood. So I saw an ad for singing in a hostel for free accommodation. So I was there. That's how it started. Yeah. So I got somewhere to stay for free, and it was with a band there. It was great crack. And then from that, I did all the most random jobs. I was nannying in the 5-star hotels for like celebrities' children, and I was working in a backpackers, and I was doing all those mad jobs. I had got a job teaching out there, but I only stuck up for 3 months because I thought, no, I didn't come here to do what I did at home, you know. So, but it was good to try it as well, you know. So, but that year it was a real eye opener because I'd went by myself. So you had to make friends, find somewhere to live, you know, just really make the most of being there. And I was there to the very last of the year. Didn't want to come home, you know. So it was amazing.
Did the art blossom over there?
Yeah, it absolutely did. So I was living in Melbourne, and Melbourne is really rich in culture and art galleries everywhere. I got to work on some of those as well, which is really inspiring. And even the brightness of colour in just the surroundings, the landscapes, everything, travelling right round Australia just was so inspirational, you know.
I can imagine nearly like the sea and the
just
sand.
Gorgeous, yeah, it's all the coast.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was home from home, but the colours were totally vamped up. It was just stunning, you know. And I remember thinking, well, look, if I can do this, you know, it shows you can take the risk and do whatever you want to do, you know. So it definitely helped me to become more confident in my decision making.
And you said you have 2 wee boys?
Yes,
yeah.
2 wee boys.
Do they sort of want to be artists? They nearly take it after you? Or?
Yes, I do. We have Finn and Evan, and Finn's 7 and Evan's 6, and they're obsessed with art, and they're obsessed with even like we're driving along, Mummy, quick, take a phone or take a photo. There's a rainbow word. Mummy, look at the reflection on the water. And the eldest, who's 7, he is just all he wants to do is be an artist like Mummy. So I just think it's such a beautiful feeling. I was taking a photo of a piece the other day for social media, and he said, Mummy, can I hold it for you? I just love this. And he was all proud as punch, and he said, like, someday I want to hold my own art, and I want to be like you, you know. And I just think it's so lovely that they don't know me as a teacher. They only know me as Mummy the artist, you know. And to them that's as normal and natural as anything, you know.
Following her,
absolutely,
her dreams.
And do you know, there's no better, you know, example to give your children or give the young people, you know. So.
And then you're Scott. He does the coffee?
Yes.
Is that right? He's here as well?
Yes, he's in Rostrevor as well. He's in the heart of the village. Evanly Coffee, we named it after Evan and Finlay. So he has a real cult following of people that come from all over for his coffee, and he just loves it. As I say, he gave up his teaching. We travelled together following my solo year in Australia, and we took a year out again. And when we were in Christchurch in New Zealand, there was such a lovely feeling of regeneration and pop-up container coffee shops and things, and he said, you know, we don't have enough of that back home.
Yes.
We need that.
Yeah.
Plus it was bringing people together, that it was a lovely way to sort of bring communities out. And then, you know, so he started that before, way before lockdown, and then over lockdown he just became so popular, you know, because of social distancing and everything else, and he's remained so. He knows more people than I do now.
You're both thriving, you know what I mean? You both took that leap, and you're both,
yes,
you know.
Yeah, and I think that was a lot of it to do with positivity and self-belief as well, because, you know, you can get times where there's challenges. It's not been all plain sailing, you know, and
that's what Instagram really doesn't see.
Yeah, no, you don't show that. No, it's all perfect and polished. But I mean, there are times where, you know, it can be quite stressful running your own business. So we kind of bounce off each other. And like when, you know, maybe times where I'm worrying about something that, you know, in the business, he's there to kind of boost me along, and vice versa. So it kind of is lovely that we both kind of get each other that way, you know. It definitely works, you know.
Whenever I was saying about having you on, there was no hesitation. You were straight. Yes.
straight yes. I just think, you know, it's an honour to be asked to share your story, and maybe someone listening or tuning in, it'll resonate with them, and isn't that lovely to be able to do that as well?
Absolutely. It makes the whole thing worthwhile, really, doesn't it? That was the same with me at the Think Network event. I just heard that wee thing, I was like, right, we need to get speaking to this woman.
Thank you.
do you use the law of attraction, or do you use anything like that, or do you?
Yeah, I very much believe in that. I remember reading The Secret years ago, and it really did change how I thought about things. Now, I would be a positive person anyway, but very much what you're putting out there, the energies, your thoughts, everything. I do really believe in that, Michael, and I've seen so many things happening that have been like a kind of response to that feeling, you know. So like I have my vision boards, and I have my gratitude journals and all of those things. And I just think the more positivity you put out, your thoughts are manifesting that, you know, and it definitely does come back.
Yeah, because you were saying that a couple of times before we were filming, and I was thinking to myself, it's all sort of, you know, it is the law of attraction, really. It is. Because everything just worked in perfectly.
It absolutely is. And as I say, the wee signs, you know, that you get along the way, and just like a wee nod to that you're on the right path, and you know, the universe is sending you these signs. And I know it sounds a wee bit airy-fairy, but you know, it's a lovely way to think, because if you're putting that out and then it's coming back, it's like, you know, it just reaffirms you're doing the right thing.
Definitely. And like, you're on TV, you're on new TV. I was downstairs, me and Ross were looking at the awards and magazines, you name it, you're on it somewhere.
I'm excited,
you know what I mean? How does that feel whenever?
It's just fabulous. I got asked to do a BBC documentary called The Borrowers by the local credit union, and they featured several business people in the area, in the local area here and in Ballymena, and it was like over several weeks filming, and that was lovely, because they actually filmed with my family in the house the day to day and out and about. And sure, the kids were so excited. They were famous. They were into school, you know, we're going to be on TV tonight, you know, and they just thought it was amazing.
And but a day in a life, nearly.
A day in a life, and it was just lovely. That was before I opened the gallery, actually, as well. So I think it all led to this, you know.
What does a day in a life look like for you? What would be like a typical day as such?
A day in the life would be chaotic. Now, it starts at about 6 in the morning. My boys have these little inbuilt alarm clocks, and they're up from the early doors. They're up and they're raring to go. But then I do my social media while we're sort of dozing on the sofa, and that time in the morning I do all that. So every day religiously I will do my social media posts every morning, and then that'll start me for the day. And any day typically could vary from getting to the easel, which is my favourite part, getting to paint and create, to maybe going to the framers, photographers, working in the gallery, meeting lovely customers, delivering paintings, going to other galleries, you know. There's all sorts of amazing events that I like to go to as well, you know, so you're always growing the business and always thinking, right, what can we do more, you know, so and collaborate.
You're so busy. I was saying to you, where do you get the time to paint?
Well, that's the thing, I would love more time to paint. I think as the business grows and evolves, my dream would be then I would do a lot more of the painting side of things, and then pass it on to you know, other, you know, sort of delegate a bit better.
And then like you were saying, you're sort of obviously the art, but and the music. But like, what would you sort of do to sort of relax and sort of get a bit of a head shower?
Well, music, as I say, is in the blood, and my dad is really passionate about the music, plays like trad and folk music, and we were reared with that, you know. So on a Wednesday night in Rostrevor, a big shout out here to the Rostrevor Inn, there's songs and stories, and it's just an absolute breath of fresh air, and people come from all over with their instruments and their voices and whatever, and congregate, and it's just, it's one of those nights where it can go just, it's always magical, like, but people just play music, sing together and have the crack, and it's just like-minded people coming together, you know. So that's total escapism for me, because art would always have been my escapism, like, but running the business can be stressful. So sometimes you need to take yourself out of it and do something else, you know, alongside it.
I actually have a note here. Is it 5 instruments?
Yeah, 5 musical instruments. Yeah, well, do you know what? None of them to a really high degree, so I'll have to throw that in there. But yeah, Dad taught myself and my siblings the tin whistle at age 3, and it grew from there. And then I play tin whistle, flute, guitar, piano, and cello. That's what I play. Yeah.
Because I see on your Instagram, you were playing the
guitar with Dad. Yeah.
What do you not do? You know what I mean?
Well, no, accounts. I pass that to someone else. That's not the side of the brain I was blessed with. I definitely have the creative side, but I think they're very intrinsically linked. And when I'm painting, a lot of the time I'm listening to music that really inspires and influences me, and sometimes that really comes out in your work, you know. So
because you can feel that, really.
Yeah, totally. And even the wildflowers, sometimes, like Dad would say, it reminds him of musical notes on a stave, you know. So I think it's all part of, you're pouring all of you into your work, and it's lovely to be able to share that with the audience. And
I love hearing your story, and this is what we're passionate about, so it's really nice to sort of connect with you on that. But if someone was maybe looking for to follow in your own footsteps, or advice, or sort of like taking that jump, maybe not necessarily in art, or what would you say to someone?
I would say, well, first of all, go for it. No hesitation, go for it, take the risk, because what is the worst that can happen? Do you know what I mean? You can always get another job somewhere, whatever. So don't live your life with any regrets. I mean, the only regret I have is I didn't do it sooner, but maybe I wouldn't have been in the right position to do that sooner. But the other thing I would say is research and find the support networks that are out there. So the local council, I got a lot of support, and I'd like to say thank you to them, Newry Morning Down District Council. They have business advice from the minute you start your business right through to where I am today. So they will give you advice from startup, do your business plan with you, right through to then growing your business in terms of social media, digital support. And there's so much out there. Then there's the likes of networking groups, and you've got the likes of Invest NI, Intertrade Ireland. There's an amazing support network in Northern Ireland, and I think it's just knowing where to access that. So you know, there's a lot out there that people can sort of research before they take that leap.
Maybe social media, you were saying earlier.
Social media is fantastic, and you can do that, and that's free. You know, so that started for me just posting all the time, being visible, being consistent with it, and again that grew, and that led to a lot of opportunities coming in as well. So as we said, about GI Blades, and Eamon Holmes is another collector. He has one of my pieces in his house.
Has he been in the gallery?
He hasn't yet, but he promises him and Ruth are going to take a wee visit down, you know, so when he's back over. So he's a real champion for local, supporting local. So yeah, I would say that there's a lot of things you can do for free to start the ball rolling, and then that'll build your confidence, and then hopefully, you know, take that leap. And
if someone's looking to follow you on social media, how would they go about doing that?
So social media, Instagram will be my main platform. So it's Jacqueline Rooney Art on Instagram, and then I'm obviously on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and now TikTok. I'm joining the youth. I'm still very much just dabbling in TikTok at the moment, but I think it's good fun, and I hope to do a lot more video content and behind the scenes paintings and things like that. So it's all just give it a go, and throw yourself at it and see what happens.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Can't wait to get stuck on these buns.
Yeah, they're good.
No, seriously, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Hopefully you guys have learned something from the lovely Jackie here. This has been the official Young Hunger podcast, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.